From the Big Flem Studios in sunny Southern California, it's Big Flem's Pigskin Picks with your host, Lorenzo Big Flem Fleming. Hey folks, what's up? This is your host, Lorenzo Big Flem Fleming here with another episode of Big Flem's Pigskin Picks College Edition here on Big Flem Radio and TV. We're almost near the regular season ending stage of college football season. We're in week number 13 and we've got a couple of key matches going on this weekend. And I know next weekend, Thanksgiving weekend, everybody's getting ready for Thanksgiving to go out of town, spend time with family and friends, eat a lot of turkey and dressing and cranberry sauce, and get in a lot of holiday football next weekend. So without further ado, let's go ahead and kick this off, folks. All right, our first matchup, we have Wyoming Cowboys at 6-4, hosting the Colorado State Rams at 4-6. Like I say, we go with the Wyoming Cowboys to beat Colorado State in the WAC. Our next matchup is Liberty Flames for Liberty University out of, Roanoke? Lynchburg, excuse me. They travel to Charlottesville to take on the Virginia Cavaliers at 7-3. So both teams are doing pretty good this year, but I'm leaning towards the Virginia Cavaliers on this one, folks. Next matchup, we have the number 21 ranked Oklahoma State Cowboys at 7-3, traveling to Morgantown, West Virginia, to take on the West Virginia Mountaineers. I know it's going to be a little bit of snowing and a lot of cold weather up there in Morgantown, and I know those folks are trying to party, trying to salvage their season, and hopefully become bowl eligible, but I doubt that's going to happen today against the Cowboys, so we're leading with the Cowboys over the Mountaineers. All right, folks, we're heading to the Big 12. We're in the Big 12 now. We have the Kansas Jayhawk at 3-7. Les Miles, this is his first year coaching after he took a hiatus from LSU. Seemed like he couldn't get it together this first season. Maybe next season they'll do better with the Jayhawks as they travel to Ames, Iowa to take on the number 22 Iowa State Cyclones or the Clones. And I'm definitely going with Iowa State over Kansas in this matchup. Now traveling to the Big Ten with 14 schools, we have the Fighting Illini of Illinois at 6-4, traveling to Iowa City to take on the number 17th ranked Iowa Hawkeyes at 7-3. They're doing pretty good this year, and they're the one that knocked off Minnesota, knocked them from the ranks of the undefeated last week. So will the trend continue? We'll find out. But I'm going to give the edge to Iowa in this one over the Fighting Illini. All right, our next matchup is another Big Ten matchup where we have the number 10 Minnesota Golden Gophers, who suffered that first loss to Iowa last week. They travel to Evanston, Indiana, north of Chicago to take on the struggling 2-8 Northwestern Wildcats. Like I say, Northwestern really have a sucky season this year, so Minnesota going to rebound after their loss and get that quality win in the Big Ten. And continue on in the Big Ten. One of the big matchups that I spoke about is the number 8 Penn State Nittany Lions at 91, traveling to the Horseshoe to take on the number 2 ranked Ohio State Buckeyes, aka the Buckaroos, who are 10-0, with Justin Fields, a former University of Georgia transfer. He's doing it up there. He finally got his opportunity that he wanted to get when he was at Georgia, but it was denied. So he's making the best of it. I hate to go against Penn State, but I'm going to have to, folks, because like I said, Justin Fields is just too hot there. But that throwing arm that is, and plus he was rushing touchdowns too. So I think it'll be Ohio State in a close one over Penn State. All right, folks, we're going to move along in the football bowl subdivision category. That's the category we're going to, the FBS, the big boys, the Division 1. All right. Now, our next matchup, we have Boston College Eagles at 5-5, traveling to South Bend, Indiana, to take on the number 16 Notre Dame Fighting Irish at 8-2. Like I said, Notre Dame's doing pretty good. Like I said, they lost to Georgia, of course. As long as they still do good, makes Georgia look better and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm going with the Fighting Irish over the Boston College Eagles. All right, our next matchup will be a local Georgia matchup. Well, one of the local Georgia teams, that is, where we have the Georgia Southern Eagles at 6-4, traveling to Arkansas State to take on the Red Wolves, who are also 6-4. And of course, I got to lean to my Georgia Southern Eagles to pull a win over Arkansas State, folks. All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with Big Flem's Pigskin Picks College Football Edition for week number 13 here on Big Flem Radio and TV. Flem Radio wants you to know that approximately every 51 minutes, someone is killed in a drunk driving crash. Buzz driving can also cause huge financial penalties with fines and legal fees. Friends, don't let friends drive drunk. Find out more at nhtsa.org.
48 years ago, when they opened the first In-N-Out Burger in California, they had just a single idea: to make the best-tasting hamburgers they could, with fresh patties of the best beef, sizzling hot and juicy off the grill, and hand-leafed lettuce, plump, ripe tomatoes, cooked to order just the way you want it. They wanted to make every hamburger fresh to order, exactly the way each customer liked it. Back then, In-N-Out didn't think of using microwaves or heat lamps or frozen french fries or buns with preservatives. So today, you still won't find them here. For a really fresh hamburger, call 1-800-786-1000 for the In-N-Out nearest you. Maybe next year. That was last year. Free round-trip airfare to a one-week cruise with Norwegian Caribbean Lines will fly you free round-trip to a one-week cruise to Mexico, the Caribbean, the Bahamas. Just call your travel agent for reservations and information. Then let yourself go to a special world where you see new sights, enjoy new pleasures, taste the delicious new freedom. With NCL, meals, entertainment, parties, and more are all included in one low price. And with free airfare, you can save hundreds of dollars. There's never been a better time to enjoy the vacation value of a lifetime. So, with free airfare. Ship registry knowledge.
Gnarly, dude. This is Jess Bacoli. When I'm out hanging tin, catching the waves, checking out the chicks, and skipping Mr. Hand's class, I'm listening to Big Flem Radio and TV. Oh. Hey, folks, welcome back. All right, we're going to continue on with Big Flem's Pigskin Picks College Edition for Week 13. All right, our next pick, we have, where are we? Okay, yeah, we're heading to the ACC, where we have the Pittsburgh Panthers at 7-3, traveling to Blacksburg, Virginia, to take on the Virginia Tech Hokies at 7-3. I think it's going to be a close game, folks, and both teams are doing pretty good. So I'm looking for Virginia Tech, a slight edge over Pittsburgh in this one, folks. All right, our next pick, we're heading back to the Big Ten, where we have the number 13 ranked Michigan Wolverines at 8-2, traveling to Bloomington, Indiana, to take on the Indiana Hoosiers at 7-3. And both teams are doing pretty good. But I know Michigan got to be prepared next week for that big matchup in the Horseshoe, the annual matchup, Michigan and the Ohio State Buckeyes, aka the Buckaroos. Jim Harbaugh desperately need a win, and so far he's 0-5 against the Buckeyes since he took over as coach. And the maize and blue faithful, they're getting very antsy in Ann Arbor, but that's next week. Right now we're getting back to the game at hand. I think Michigan can get a slight win over Indiana in this matchup, folks. All right, our next matchup is to the Pac-12, aka the Puke 12, where we have the Battle of LA, the annual dust up in LA, where we have the 4-6 UCLA Bruins, aka the Teddy Bears, traveling to the Coliseum, which is only a 30-minute drive, depending on the traffic on the 110 freeway from the Rose Bowl in Pasadena down to the Coliseum, to take on the number 23 ranked USC Trojans at 7-4, which is a key game. Because, like I say, they might have a slight chance to win the Pac-12 South title, but that's a slim chance. And also, they definitely need this win for their coach Clay Helton, because he's been under a lot of heat this season, and he needs this win. So I hate to say this, but I'm gonna go with USC Trojans over the UCLA Bruins, aka the Teddy Bears. All right, there's a game that's getting ready to kick off right now, the big SEC game for this week. And there's also a key game for Georgia as the Texas A&M Aggies at 7-3 travel to Sanford Stadium between the hedges to take on the number 4th ranked Georgia Bulldogs. And like I said, Georgia desperately needs this win, especially to keep their college football playoffs alive. Because like I said, if they lose to Texas A&M, it could derail their college football playoff hopes. And also for Texas A&M, this could be a quality win for them because they also beat LSU also. So with that being said, I'm going with Georgia on this one in a close one because especially it's raining there in Athens. So, Georgia doesn't do too well in the rain. So go Dogs. All right. Now we're going to head back to the Big 12 where we have Texas Longhorn at 6-4 traveling to Waco or Waco, Texas to take on the number 14 ranked Baylor Bears who suffered their first loss last week against Oklahoma. So I'm going with Baylor to rebound from that loss to Oklahoma last week. They're going to beat Texas, the Longhorns, Hook 'em Horns. All right, our next matchup is the number 25 ranked SMU Mustangs at 9-1, traveling to Annapolis to take on the Naval Academy Midshipmen at 7-2. Both teams are doing pretty good, especially SMU, so I'm going to stick with SMU, folks. All right, I'm going to continue on. We have back to the Pac-12, or the Puke 12. We got the Cal Bears at 5-5, traveling to Palo Alto to take on the struggling 4-6 Stanford Cardinals. Both teams are very struggling this year, so I will go with Stanford to get a decent win over California. And going back to the ACC, we got Louisville Cardinals at 6-4 hosting the 4-6 Syracuse Orange. So we go with Louisville on this matchup, folks. Then we got next matchup. We have the number 18th ranked Memphis Tigers at 9-1, traveling to Tampa to take on the South Florida Bulls at 4-6. Seems like South Florida is struggling this year, but I think Memphis will get a quality win there in Tampa. All right, moving right along, we head back to the Big 12 where we got the Kansas State Wildcats at 6-4, traveling to Lubbock in the Texas Panhandle to take on the Texas Tech Red Raiders at 4-6. They're kind of struggling this year, so I'm going to give it to Kansas State in a close one. All right, our next matchup we have the Temple Owls at 7-3, traveling to Cincinnati to take on the 19th ranked Cincinnati Bearcats and 9-1. So far, the Bearcats are doing pretty good this year, so I'm going to lean with the Bearcats over Temple Owls. All right, our next matchup is a South Florida matchup where we have the University of Miami of Florida, the Hurricanes, aka the Thunderstorm, at 6-4, heading up the road to Fort Lauderdale or Pompano Beach, wherever they're located at, to play the Florida International University Panthers at 5-5. So I guess I'll go with the U, since I got family members down there in South Florida, Miami-Dade County and Broward County. So that one's for you guys. All right, staying in the ACC, or going back to the ACC, we have the 4-6 Duke Blue Devils traveling to Winston-Salem to take on the Wake Forest Demon Deacons at 7-3. Like Duke kind of struggled a little bit lately, so I'm going with Wake Forest over Duke. If it was college basketball, it'd be the other way around, but we're sticking with football, so we'll go with that, folks. All right, heading back to the SEC, the best conference in college football per se. We have the Tennessee Volunteers, aka the Voluntold, at 5-5, traveling to Columbia, Missouri, to take on the Missouri Mizzou Tigers, also at 5-5. Both teams are struggling in the SEC, and both teams need that next win to be bowl eligible. But I'm going to lean towards Missouri to get that 6th win. All right, heading back to the Pac-12, or the Puke 12, we have the number 6 ranked Oregon Ducks at 9-1, traveling to Tempe to take on the Arizona State Sun Devils at 5-5. And of course, Oregon, right now, they're in the driver's seat in the Puke 12 or Pac-12 North Division. So I think they're going to get this quality Pac-12 win over Arizona State, folks. All right, moving right along, we headed back to the Big 12 where we got the TCU Horned Frogs at 5-5, traveling to Norman, Oklahoma to take on the number 9th ranked Oklahoma Sooners at 9-1. After that, big win over Baylor last week. Let's see if they can continue with that momentum. So I think they're going to definitely beat TCU in this one, folks. All right, heading back to the Pac-12, aka the Puke-12, where we got Oregon State Beavers at 5-5, traveling to Pullman, the east side of Washington State, and the Palouse to take on the struggling 5-5 Washington State Cougars. Well, I'm gonna go with Mike Leach and the Cougars on the Palouse over Oregon State. And continuing in the Pac-12, we got the 6-4 Washington Huskies and Jacob Eason, former Georgia transfer, traveling to cold Boulder, Colorado, to take on the struggling 4-6 Colorado Buffaloes. And like I said, Washington needs to rebound and get back on track, so I'm gonna go with the Huskies over the Buffaloes. And staying in the Pac-12, aka the Puke-12, we have the number 7 ranked Utah Utes at 91. Right now, they're in the driver's seat for the Pac-12 South Division title as they travel to Tucson to take on the Arizona Wildcats at 4-6. And I think they're going to get an easy win over the Wildcats in this one. Now we're heading to the WAC. We got the number 20 Boise State Broncos at 91, traveling to Logan, Utah to take on Utah State Aggies at 6-4. I'm going to go with Boise State over this one, folks. And then staying in the WAC or the Mountain West, we got the Nevada Wolfpack at 6-4, traveling to Fresno State to take on the struggling 4-6 Fresno State Bulldogs. Well, I'm gonna go with the Nevada Wolfpack over Fresno State, folks. And staying in the WAC or the Mountain West, we have San Diego State Aztecs at 8-2, traveling across the ocean to Hawaii to take on the Rainbow Warriors at 7-4. Like, both teams are doing pretty good, but I want to lean towards San Diego State over this one, folks, in the WAC. All right, folks, we're going to take another quick break, and we'll be right back with Big Flem's Pigskin Picks College Football Edition for Week 13 here on Big Flem Radio and TV.
Hey, folks, this is Lorenzo Big Flem Fleming, the host and creator of Big Flem Radio and TV website. As you know, I am a host of 6 podcasts on Big Flem Radio and TV, designed for the general listening audience. Like I said, whenever you get a chance, check it out. Check out the website. Check out the online store for Big Flem Radio and TV themed products and little knickknacks and gifts for your friends and your family members. Like I said, you'll find it very interesting. I guarantee it. Like I said, the podcast covers news, music, talk. I wouldn't say news, but mainly talk about today's news and topics, as well as a channel dedicated to my fellow American military veterans, because I am a veteran myself. 21 years qualifying service in the Army and the Army Reserves, which includes 2 combat tours in Iraq and 6 months contingency operation tour in Kuwait. So I dedicate that show to all my fellow veterans and family members of veterans. So if you give a chance, hey, give me a chance. Give a listen. Check out the website at www.bigflemradiotv, that's one word, .com. Again, that's www.bigflemradiotv.com. I'll spell it out for you. It's BIGFLEM as in Mike, RADIO TV. And you can send me a tweet on Twitter with the hashtag Flem, FLEM_radio. So like I said, give me a shot, give it a listen. And also, if you want to send a request for a song or want to make a comment or criticisms about any of the podcast shows on Big Flem Radio and TV, go ahead. I like to hear from you. Send me a shout out, or if you want me to do a shout out for somebody, or if you want to do a dedication on a certain show, just send it to the email bigflemradiotv@gmail.com. Again, that's bigflemradioandtv@gmail.com, and put whatever particular podcast show in the subject line. For example, one of the shows you're listening to right now is Big Flem's Pigskin Picks NFL edition, as well as college football edition. Also, you can send the subject line. You can use My Prerogative with Lorenzo Fleming, Reflections, Rockin' Into the Night, as well as Lorenzo's Jams. Again, give it Give it a try. Check it out. Listen to it. Tell all your friends and your neighbors and your family members, and even strangers. You won't regret it. It's Big Flem Radio and TV.
Inside every bottle of Canada Dry Seltzer is a celebration. It's an exhilarating, tingly experience that touches your senses. Because it's a celebration of the healthy way more and more people are living today. It's a celebration for working out, for dieting, for taking care of your body. It's a Canada Dry celebration that will explode your thirst. Refresh your taste. Canada Dry Seltzer, the virtually salt-free sparkling water that's right for the way you live today. Because it's sugar-free, calorie-free, and of course, virtually salt-free. So Canada Dry Seltzer is nothing but pure refreshment. Come on, don't just refresh yourself anymore. Seltzer break. Aren't you ready for Canada Dry Seltzer?
Hey folks, welcome back. Of course, the holidays is coming up, especially next week is Thanksgiving. I know everybody's getting ready for that Thanksgiving holiday meal with their family and their loved ones. And there will be a lot of traveling on Wednesday night to go to where they need to go, to spend time with their families and friends and loved ones. And also right behind that, less than 30 days from now, well, 28 days if I'm not, you have Christmas. So, the holidays are here and you're looking for a nice gift, check out Big Flem Radio and TV's website, especially the online store. They got some Big Flem Radio and TV theme products and items and souvenirs. That's good for your friends and loved ones, your co-workers, battle buddies, strangers, alien from Mars, from outer space. If you're looking for that great Christmas gift, please check out Big Flem Radio and TV's website, the online store, and also check out this podcast as well as the 5 other podcasts dedicated to music, talk, and veterans issues and news. Like I said, check it out. Give it a shot. At bigflemradiotv.com. Again, that's www.bigflemradiotv.com. If you want to be a guest picker or prognosticator for this podcast as well as the NFL edition, just send us an email at bigflemradiotv@gmail.com. Again, that's bigflemradiotv, one word, @gmail.com, and put in the subject line Big Flem's Pigskin Picks College or NFL edition. And also, you can send us a tweet on Twitter. We have a Twitter account, folks. So like you say, you send it at the hashtag @Flem_radio. Again, that's @Flem, FLEM as in Mike, _radio, RADIO. We also have a Facebook page as well as a group page. Just go to facebook.com/Big Flem Radio and TV. And also, you can find our episodes on Spreaker or SoundCloud or iHeartRadio or Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts. Check out whatever platform that you use to listen to podcasts. Check it out and find Big Flem Radio and TV. All right, let's get back to our picks, folks. Now we're heading to the Football Championship Subdivision, formerly known as Division 1AA. For those folks, like I said, I don't want to neglect them, so let's go ahead and make some of those picks for those games, folks. All right, first pick, we're going to the Ivy League, where we got 8-1 Dartmouth over the struggling 2-7 Brown Bears. But like I said, this should be a no-brainer. We'll go with the Big Green of Dartmouth over Brown University. Staying in the Ivy League, we got the Harvard Crimson over at 4-5, traveling to New Haven, Connecticut, to take on the Yale Bulldogs at 8-1. This is a classic in the Ivy League, so I'm going to go with Yale over Harvard. All right, then heading to the Wofford versus Wofford Terriers at 7-3, traveling to Charleston to take on the Citadel Bulldogs at 6-5. Like I said, that should be a close matchup, so I'll give it to Wofford, formerly Southern Conference mates. All right, and going back to the Ivy League, we got Princeton at 7-2, traveling to Philadelphia to take on the University of Pennsylvania Quakers at 5-4. Both teams are doing pretty good. I know Payton kind of struggled a little bit, so I'll go with the Princeton Tigers. Next matchup, we head into the MEAC, where we have the Morgan State Bears at 3-8, traveling to DC to take on the woeful 1-10 Howard Bison, representing the HBCU colleges, historically black colleges and universities. I don't want to leave them out, folks. So this one should be a no-brainer, but I'll go with Morgan State from Baltimore. All right, staying in the MEAC and the HBCU schools, we have North Carolina Central at 4-7. The Eagles traveling to Greensboro. I think that's where it is, Greensboro, to take on the North Carolina A&T State Aggies at 7-3. I think this should be a close matchup, so I'm going to give it to the North Carolina A&T State Aggies because my cousin graduated from there and he pledged Phi Beta Sigma fraternity there. All right. Next matchup, we got the Chattanooga Mocs at 6-5. University of Tennessee Chattanooga, the Moccasins, traveling to VMI, Virginia Military Institute, to take on the Keydets at 4-7. I'll go with the Moccasins over the Keydets. All right, going back to the Ivy League, we got the Columbia Lions at 3-6, traveling to Cornell to take on the Big Red of Cornell University, also 3-6. Somebody has to win this one, so I'll give it to Columbia. Now heading to the Big Sky Country, we have the Montana Grizzlies at 9-2, heading to Montana State Bobcats at 8-3. That should be a close matchup, but I go with the Montana Grizzlies in the Big Sky Country matchup. Then heading to the SWAC, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, for the HBCU schools. We have Mississippi Valley State at 2-8, traveling to Huntsville to take on the 6-5 Alabama A&M Bulldogs. So I'm going to go with Alabama A&M Bulldogs over Mississippi Valley State. Excuse me. All right, our next matchup up there in the Dakotas and the Northern Plains, we got the North Dakota State Bison at perfect 11-0, traveling to Southern Illinois Salukis at 7-4. Hopefully that should be a no-brainer, so I'll go with North Dakota State Bison over the Salukis. Then we have the Alcorns heading back to the SWAC. We have Alcorn State at 7-3, traveling to Jackson, Mississippi to take on Jackson State Tigers at 4-7. That should be a close matchup, so we go with Alcorn State. And heading back to the Plains, the Northern Plains, we have the South Dakota State Jackrabbits at 8-3, heading to take on South Dakota Coyotes at 4-7. Like I said, I think the Jackrabbits are going to take care of the Coyotes in the Battle of South Dakota. Then heading back to the MEAC, to the HBCUs, we got the Florida A&M Rattlers at 9-1, traveling to Daytona Beach to take on the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats at 6-4. I'm going to go with Florida A&M Rattlers, the FAMU Rattlers, the marching, and also check out their marching band, the Marching 100. They're great. They're outstanding. Then we look at the next matchup. We have the Campbell Fighting Camels at 6-4, traveling to Charleston to take on the Charleston Southern Buccaneers at 5-6. This should be a close matchup, so we're going to give it to Campbell. All right, folks. We're going to do a quick recap of our picks. Like I said, we have the Wyoming Cowboys over the Colorado State Rams, Virginia Cavaliers over the Liberty Flames, Oklahoma State Cowboys over the West Virginia Mountaineers, Iowa State Cyclones over the Kansas Jayhawks, Iowa Hawkeyes over the Fighting Illini out of Illinois, Minnesota Golden Gophers over Northwestern Wildcats, the Ohio State Buckeyes, aka the Buckaroos, over the Penn State Nittany Lions, Notre Dame over Boston College Eagles, Georgia Southern Eagles over Arkansas State Red Wolves. We got Virginia Tech over Pittsburgh Panthers, Michigan over Indiana Hoosiers, USC Trojans over UCLA Bruins, aka the Teddy Bears in the Battle of LA. We got Georgia over Texas A&M in a close one. Baylor Bears rebounding over Texas. SMU over Navy. Stanford over California Golden Bears. Louisville Cardinals over Syracuse Orange. Memphis Tigers over South Florida Bulls. Kansas State over Texas Tech Red Raiders. Cincinnati Bearcats over Temple Owls. Miami, Florida Hurricanes, aka the Thunderstorm, over FIU Panthers. Wake Forest Demon Deacons over Duke Blue Devils. Missouri Mizzou Tigers over Tennessee State Volunteers. Oregon Ducks over Arizona State. We got Oklahoma over TCU, Washington State over Oregon State, Washington over Colorado, Utah over Arizona, Boise State over Utah State, Nevada over Fresno State, San Diego State over Hawaii, Dartmouth over Brown, Yale over Harvard, Wofford over the Citadel. We got Princeton over Penn, Morgan State over Howard, North Carolina A&T over North Carolina Central, Chattanooga Mocs over BMI, Keydets. Got the Columbia Lions over Cornell Big Red, Montana Grizzlies over Montana State Bobcats, Alabama A&M over Mississippi Valley State, North Dakota State over Southern Illinois Salukis. We got Alcorn State over Jackson State. We got South Dakota State over South Dakota, Florida A&M the Rattlers over Bethune-Cookman Wildcats, Campbell fighting Campbells over Charleston Southern. All right, folks, that about wraps up another edition of Big Flem's Pigskin Picks, college football edition for Week 13 of the college football season. All right, tune in next time for another edition. And also check out Big Flem's Pigskin Picks NFL edition here on Big Flem Radio and TV. Also, check out all the other 5 podcast shows on Big Flem Radio and TV at www.bigflemradiotv.com. Again, that's www.bigflemradioandtv. www.bigflemradiotv.com. Until then, see you next time and enjoy your games. And if you're into fantasy football, hope your teams went out pretty good. Until then, we'll talk to you again here on Big Flem's Pigskin Picks College Football Edition here on Big Flem Radio and TV. Written, produced, and hosted by yours truly, Lorenzo Big Flem Fleming. Big Flem's Pigskin Picks is a production of Black Rebel Productions in association with Flem Media. The college football theme music is the sole property of the NCAA and CBS Sports. Big Flem Radio and TV does not own the rights to the music clip, nor do they profit from it. Who are you? We're Big Flem Radio and TV.